Another three-piece with a great sound. Have to comment every time it happens. We don't go, oh, another five-piece, but we do when it's a three-piece. It's them the rules. I don't make.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is in your part of the world. It's good to see you back here on the Audiophiles. And today's episode is going to be a viewer request, a song chosen or suggested, I should say, by a one Josh Leary, 4512. And it came on our Silver Sun Pickups video for the song Three Seed that I believe I had offered up to John to go off and listen to. And we discussed the band. Neither of us were really familiar with them. I had heard of this band before, but never heard any of their stuff. John, have you heard of them or had not heard of Hello Mary?
Faint echoings, but nothing.
Okay. They're pretty new, so that was part of the reason why I was asking in case you hadn't yet heard of them or whatever. Okay, well, as you know, I mentioned I had heard of these guys. John hasn't. It's really an excuse for both of us to give them a listen, but it came up that John will be doing the official reacting for this song. I've already given it a listen, taken some notes, found some interesting stuff, and we'll divulge all of that to John. But first, he's got to go off and give it a listen and come back and divulge his thoughts on the song. So, John, you are going to be listening to a track by Hello Mary called Looking Right into the Sun. So, you've got everything you need. You know, avert your eyes. Do not look directly into the sun like it suggests. And then come back and let us know what you made of it, buddy.
Will do.
Forced into the ground to conceal the sound, hidden from the crowd, heartbreaking too loud. Looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun.
A lot to unpack there already. We're not even a minute into it. Oh, it's a short song. Okay. Really, three-piece. Sounding great. KEXP, sounding great. Really nice guitar start opening it up and then come the drums and the bass. Her vocal quality is got that sort of slightly, it's sharp, it's slightly off key to it, which gives you the, but it didn't sound terrible, but it gives you that uneasiness listening to it. And the drummer was like coming in with just single words back, and the two voices together, hers was like straight and melodic. It worked actually really well, offsetting each other, and it sounded like you get this sort of that sort of motion with it. I think they were like putting things on the fourth beat, and the bass was doing a bump thing as well, and there's like a little splash, and her singing the words. What was it? I wrote down ground, sound, and crowd. Really interesting. And then we go into this like Pumpkins riff. And I think that was a chorus. They said the title 4 times. And then we come out into this sort of Nirvana break, which is really cool. Fuck it.
Forced into the ground to conceal the sound, hidden from the crowd, heartbreaking too loud. Looking right into the sun, looking right
Oh, nice bass. Sort of Pixies breeders.
Slouching on the side, written words speak your mind. Fake it to keep me aligned. Wait till I feel fine. Looking right into the sun. Looking right into the sun. Looking right into the sun. Looking right into the sun.
So short song. I love that bit coming out of the sort of guitar, the Nirvana sort of outro, and that bass line is really Kim Deal, Pixies, First Breeders album. Dun, 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 dun. But she puts a bit of a boom, 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 boom at the end, whatever she does, and to be able to tell me, but it sounds great.
Don't wanna be here, but I'm too scared to leave. Where do these things come from? Things that you find so dumb. They pound my head at night, makes me curl up by your side.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.
Certainly will. I really enjoyed that. There's lots of elements to it, loads of like different influences as well, which they're trying to mash into their own thing. I love the bass player's little grin at the end, and the drummer looked almost like, "Did we do okay?" And she was like gripping the cymbals. Um, yeah, yeah, really like, and I like that last part. Almost had like a sort of striding, powerful, triumphal sound to it musically, but the way she's singing it again, it sounds like there's this unease, awkwardness, maybe lack of confidence even in the narrator, what she's saying. I got some of the lines about too scared to leave and where things come from. I think that's the drummer's singing whole lines now rather than just punctuating the words. Something about finding things so dumb, and ended up with makes me curl up by your side, I think it was, which again is really sort of passive, and interesting compared to the music. This is really interesting. It's a lot of promise to this. I'm really interested to hear what these guys are doing now. Yeah, I'm quite excited to listen to this. This is cool. I really enjoyed this. This is a great recommendation. Got to find out more. So let's go back and chop it up with Andy.
Welcome back. It just dawned on me. I totally didn't tell you in the in the early stages of this video that you would be listening to a KEXP version and performance of this song, which is always, you know, a welcome thing on the channel. We love checking out KEXP videos. So you not only got to hear these gals, I almost said these guys, but I corrected myself. These gals for the, you know, got to hear them for the first time, but you also got to see them sort of perform live as well. What were your takeaways?
Yes, you didn't tell me. It makes me wonder what else you're keeping from me. Anyway, yeah, so it was nice to see them perform as well. I have to say, initial thoughts first off, this is so 90s influenced. It was wonderful. It was a sort of grunge, alternative indie that, you know,
Yeah.
particularly quite that side of things is almost British sounding. But it was American sounding as well, and almost a bit of no wave in there as well, and other influences which I'll get into later. Another three-piece with a great sound. Have to comment every time it happens. We don't go, oh, another five-piece, but we do when it's a three-piece. It's them the rules. I don't make it up. And of course, being live on PX, like you said, it's a really great sound. As the advert says, the ring of confidence. So, starts with a meaty flourish on the guitar and a quick fill from the drums, and we get then these lovely lead vocals with this sort of off-key dissonance to them, to the melody, which is and it's backed by the drummer's voice. Together, it sounds off in a really good way. It's like uneasiness exemplified. It's at this point I realize I have seen very briefly something the drummer like ping. Yes, I've seen her in a KEPX whatever studio. So, but I've not listened to any of their songs, but I must have seen like a 20-second or short or whatever. I just recognized her in that studio. But yeah, it didn't affect anything. Okay. So yeah, they start rattling off, and it's really interesting. There's this like, I don't know what you would call it musically, the terminology, but it's like a step effect, and it's like the opposite of the funk on the one. It's like on the four. So on the fourth beat, there's a little slap and a crash of the drums. The drummer's backing vocals, she says ground and then sound and then crowd, I think. They're all on the four beats. And there's a bump from the bass as well on the four beats. So it makes it really interesting, kind of rolling along like a three-sided wheel or something, each line. And then we change gear up to a massive Smashing Pumpkins riff. And I think it's the chorus because she says looking right into the sun like 4 times in a row. And then coming out of this, the sort of post-chorus, we get this, I would say nod, but it's more like a massive wave to Nirvana. Hello. With that sort of guitar sound, the sort of, let's quieten down a bit. We do all have a nice jump around for a second or two. Let's go and get some juice inside us and calm down. And that change of tempo from the drummer as he's going away. And then the bass line to that little section as well sounds so Kim Deal, sort of Pixie stroke First Breeders album. But then she does a bit of ooh la la at the end of each line as well, which is really nice. And we're not even at the minute mark yet in the song. There's just like plenty going on. Really, really interesting. Had me fascinated. So then we get into some sort of pattern. So we go back to the verse pattern again, and then back to the chorus again. It's the same as before. And then we get that lovely, nice post-chorus Nirvana type bit. And then we get this outro coming out because it's such a short song. And in the outro, the guitar, so she does a bit of the Smashing Pumpkins riff, and then it goes into this bit where it's more sort of slowed down, but it's almost not processional. But in my mind, it sounded like someone peacocking with those massive ruffled sleeves you get in Latin American dance costumes and a pair of Cuban heels. The vocals are just they're less sharp now. They're probably sort of on the money rather than just being above it. And the drummer is starting to sing full lines as well. So it's all stringed together. So musically, it's almost striding powerfully, but you still get that sense of unease, awkwardness, maybe even lack of confidence from the vocals and some of the lyrics, which I got. So again, as we've talked about this, disconnect between what the music's doing and what she's saying or trying to convey. And I got something about being too scared to leave and something about where things come from and things that you find dumb, I think it is. I wrote down the next line, but I can't read it, so I'm going to skip that. And then it finishes with makes me curl up by your side, which again is a very passive line. It's quite a nice line, but it's not like I'm taking this to the fucking, it's I'm going to curl up by your side, And then we stop. And there's a cheeky grin from the bass player. And the drummer is kind of like, as she's grabbing and stilling the cymbals, her face is like, did we do okay? And like that, which I really liked. So yeah, I thought this is a great listen. As a song, it's not the greatest song I've heard this year, but what the band was doing, how they're taking their influences and trying to create something original, I think is one of the most exciting listens for me this year. I really, really like this. I thought it was a great performance. I love the vocals. I love that she was doing something a little bit interesting with them. That sort of dissonance, the masters of it would be Sonic Youth, but that's always that fun. If it's done well, it's really interesting and something different. I love the guitar. I love the drumming. And I really love the bass. I thought she was excellent. They all looked about 16 as well, which is really depressing. The bands that it made me think of, and some of them will be lazy connections, I know, but like with that distance in the vocals, I think, and the Faith Healers, Kristen Hirsch, Throwing Muses, definitely Smashing Pumpkins, which kind of fits because this was from a or what do you call it?
Silver Sun pickups.
Silver Sun pickups, yeah, which again we've talked about their influences, so that fits in. But also a bit of Breeders, that first album in particular, Nirvana, as I said, a bit of Pavement, and even it made me think of Mary in the Junkyard that we listened to earlier in the year as well. Just the way she approached it, it's just full of interests, really. As I say, I don't think it's like the best song I've heard this year, but it just really made me perk up and listen to it. I thought it was great effort, really interesting, and I'm really interested to hear more from this band.
Excellent, excellent. Well, maybe we will have some more, whether it's through a further suggestion on this video once it's posted. But I've kind of already started to dig into their most recent album, because when I was doing this research, I was like, oh shit, this is a bit earlier in their existence, and they've since released more music, and they've had an album come out fairly recently. So that's kind of the one that I've been dabbling into a little bit, and there's some stuff worth checking out on it. So
cool.
It wouldn't surprise me if we see some more of these guys in probably 2025 as we move forward, into next year. But yeah, I had a similar experience listening to this. You can't help, and I don't know if this is fair. It's perhaps not fair to the band to reduce it down to they sound like this, therefore that's all they are. But it's human, condition to, when you're as old as we are and we've listened to as much music as we have, to try to draw comparisons to other shit that we like, which explains why we like what we're hearing when we hear these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, the dynamics between the verse and the chorus and how they are crafted and conjoined is fucking Nirvana 101. So that is what stood out to me the most. You're right. There are Smashing Pumpkins and, dare I say, even a little Silver Sun pickups like sound to them as well. And some of the bands that you named as well weren't even on my radar, but it makes sense as to why you would list them. And now, thinking about it, you're right. There are some correlations between them as well. And also, really young band with probably a very bright future, I would imagine. So super cool shout, super cool song. Let's get into the band a little bit more so we can learn more about them. Hello, Mary. They are an American alternative rock band from New York City. The band consists of Stella Wave, Helena Strait, and Michaela Oppenheimer, who are all currently in college.
That's a name, isn't it, eh?
Yeah. Michaela Oppenheimer. There's a lot of syllables going on there. So they like I said, they're still in college, but they've been influenced by and supported bands such as Silver Sun Pickups, American Football, and Dive. So totally makes sense again why this suggestion would come on a Silver Sun Pickups video. So their sound has been described as a combination of grunge, garage, punk, and post-punk. We caught bits of that, I think, both of us giving this a go. The band formed in 2019, originally consisting of Helena Strait and Michaela Oppenheimer, with Stella Wave joining shortly after, before their first public performance. Hello Mary self-released their debut EP, Ginger, way back in 2020. When Strait and Oppenheimer were only 16 years old and Wave was 19. Wow. So there you go. 2 16-year-olds and a 19-year-old. It's pretty crazy. One was a legal adult and 2 could legally drive. That's fucking insane. The release established the band's penchant for unpredictability, surprising melodic twists, and explosive instrumentation. Across 7 songs, they flexed their muscle for changing time signatures with perfect synchronicity. Gratifying whiplash helped along by their composition that sophisticated beyond their years, counterbalances sonic space with blindsiding moments of thunderous drums and guitar. It's an excellent way to sum up the incredible sound that, as you mentioned, just three young women are producing. It's pretty awesome stuff. Since their debut, they've been refining their sound in the confines of the pandemic with impressive results. In addition to shows around city parks, they've opened for Sunflower Bean, Luna, Quicksand, Dead, and Pretty Sick. Most recently, they teamed up with industry vet Bryce Goggin, Dinosaur Jr., Pavement, to produce ear splitters, including Stringe and Sink In. In 2023, the group announced their self-titled debut album. The album was released on French Kiss Records March 3rd, 2024. In 2024, the band released their latest song titled 0%. The band's second full-length album, Amita Fox, was released on September 13th, 2024. I don't know how they're balancing this album churning with their studies, but they're somehow making it happen. But it's pretty credible that you've got college-age students who are fucking working towards degrees, cranking out 2 albums in the year 2024 of our Lord. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, Kim Lair of webzine No More Workhorse reviewed the band's self-titled album, on which this track features, and had this to say. The three of them kick up a joyful racket, opening with a pounding sub-3-minute stinge. There's a hint of Nirvana, on Looking Right into the Sun, and also on Rabbit. The latter, despite its title, kicks up a mighty racket with thrilling guitar riffs.
Sorry, I just love the descriptor racket when applied to a song. I mean, it usually indicates it's my kind of song.
Yeah. He would go on to sum the album up by writing, "There's nothing very revolutionary here, but for people who like sweet singing over fuzzy guitars, this will make them very happy." And it's a hell of a way to spend a half an hour. You know what? That's he starts off making it sound like it's going to be more biting than it is, but that's actually a pretty good synopsis, I think. Especially when you and I are going, oh yeah, they have the shades of this and shades of that. Of course, it's not going to be anything revolutionary. That doesn't matter. Is it good? And yes, the answer is like emphatically yes, it is good.
Yeah.
Tanya Donley of Throwing Muses, The Breeders, and Belly had this to say of the band. Hello Mary are the very rare band who nod to their influences while sounding completely new. Most importantly, these are great songs and they're great players. This sounds like hope to me. While Britta Phillips of Luna, Dean, and Britta said this. Hello Mary has everything that gets me truly excited about a band. They have their own unique sound down to their strong adolescent bones. And Julia Cumming of the group Sunflower Bean opined on the band, Hello Mary are my favorite new band from New York City. Sometimes you get lucky and discover a project that restores your faith in the new. Sometimes you just need a great show with passion, kids moshing, and guitars really, really loud. Hello Mary is the future of rock and roll, and they're only just beginning. These are some pretty compliments that are thrown their way. Neil Schiller of WordPress wrote this of this track specifically when it was listed as the publication's track of the week. The staccato, offbeat, aggressive rhythm that underpins the song is constantly broken by moments of dreamy vocals, like the sun breaking through heavy clouds. There's a post-hardcore element to the minor key guitar progression, a post-punk collage effect, some grunge-like melodies. It has a bit of everything, and it all comes together in a glorious, cohesive whole that is much more than the sum of its parts. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's great. So, another ringing endorsement of the band. All right, let's jump into these lyrics. Forced into the ground, to conceal the sound, hidden from the crowd, heartbreaking too loud. looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun. Slouching on the side, written words speak your mind, your mind. Fake it to keep me aligned, aligned. Lay till I feel fine. Looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun, looking right into the sun. Don't want to be here, but I'm too scared to leave. Where do these things come from? Things that you find so dumb. They pound my head at night, makes me curl up by your side. Yeah, there is a bit of I don't want to be too over dramatic in my words here, but there's like it sounds like some Stockholm syndrome, or what is the gray area that occurs right before you're fully engulfed in Stockholm syndrome, where you're like you don't want to be where you are, but it's the only thing you know. They somehow manipulate you or give you enough of a feeling to stay where you are, even though you feel you're stuck. There's some of that going on for that I pick up from the
Yeah, yeah.
sounds like you kind of picked up on that a little bit too, especially with that last line that you noted how passive it was, like makes me curl up by your side. It's that doesn't scream of someone who is longing to be in the arms of their lover. It just sounds like someone who's resigned to go there because that's kind of all they know. Um and then
Yeah,
they resent that perhaps.
yeah, I was getting from the lyrics as you were reading them out, sort of like power imbalance.
Yes.
Um, and the effect of staring straight into the sun, obviously, that the feeling that person is overwhelming almost,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly bad for your eyesight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah, it is. And like that's an interesting correlation, right? To use the act of looking into the sun to be emblematic of this kind of relationship dynamic. And at first glance, you're like, explain it to me. And then when you read these lyrics and you think about it for a moment, it actually does check out and make sense. And it's pretty clever.
And it makes you also wonder that perhaps it's a relationship or something which they have been advised against. Like you always advised, don't look into the sun, but
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing
Stay
it. They're
away
doing it
from
anyway.
yeah,
And now they're learning that, oh yeah, there is something in that.
yeah.
That's why we shouldn't do it.
Exactly, exactly. These things will catch up with us.
Mm,
Yeah, this was there obviously wasn't a whole lot on this band because they've only been
yeah.
around for an EP and two albums that they churned out in an almost unnatural fashion. I mean,
Mm.
they released one and then what, 6 months later they released another one.
About
Incredible
that time.
stuff.
What have they done since they released the last one? I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. You set the bar, now you have to continue to adhere to that.
I've really slacked off now. It's been
Yeah.
what, a couple of months? Jesus.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to digging in more to their Amida Ox is the one that I've kind of dug into a little bit. I need to go back to this album as well and give it a go. And check out what Ginger is all about as well. Really interesting, cool stuff, and just kind of like echo a little bit what was said in here. I don't know if you experienced this, but it sounds like you did with your excitement about as far as it being one of the better songs that you've heard this year or whatever. Um, or more interesting acts that you've been exposed to this year. It makes me optimistic
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the future of things and where music is going, and to hear three, you know, inarguably diminutive young women cranking out something with such, it had such a muscular nature to it. I just love it. I love that so much. I mean, we've talked about acts like that before on this channel, whether it's, a Tori Amos or a PJ Harvey, any of these kind of women who aren't afraid to boldly step into what is a man's world and kind of make their presence felt. That's cool. I love that so much. So, kudos to them. Kudos to the future of music, and kudos to Josh Leary 4512 for
Mm.
for offering this up. I really do
Yes,
appreciate this. It was a good listen.
yes, it was great. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, John, for giving this some time and your thoughts. Really do appreciate that. I'm sure Josh does as well. Guys out there in the listening audience, let us know what you thought of Hello Mary. If there's other tracks by them that you're aware of that we should check out on the channel. It'll be fun to bring to the table. Please do that down in the comments field below. Also, like, share, and subscribe if you be so inclined. We really do appreciate that. It helps us here on YouTube kind of gas up the channel and expose it to more people, and bringing in more people and more suggestions is always the aim here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, hopefully John and I will see all y'all in growing numbers on the next episode of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.